Muy buenas noches, señoras, señores, damas y caballeros. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros otra vez. Si no han rezado a hacer una oración, por favor háganlo. Porque hoy... ¿Y dónde está tu mamá? No, que no mire esto. No. Hoy vamos a hablar de Satanás. Póngase a rezar porque va a estar cabrón.
If you're like me and you're whitewashed, to translate everything he just said, is that if you haven't prayed before clicking on this, we suggest that you stop the video and start praying. And if you prayed before, good for you.
And if their mom is there,
and if their mama's watching, just pretend you're doing homework or something.
Yeah.
Say, hey, you know
you're
what?
on a Zoom call.
You're in a Zoom class. We are your instructors. So,
Right.
But other than that,
let's get into
buckle
it.
up and roll that intro, please.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite fucking podcast. It's your boy JG with your boy
Edwin Sarti.
And today, whoa. There's a special message we want to give. Go ahead, Edwin. Let them know the great fucking news.
Today's episode is sponsored by The Ace Fitness.
The Ace Fitness, again.
So, for anybody who's looking for any home gym essentials, today we are sponsored. Any gear. So, theacefitness.net is actually sponsoring us. And we are giving you guys a exclusive code so then you guys can get your home essentials. You know, things like mats, things like, things to simulate like a barbell, anything like that. If you go into theacefitness.net, we will give you guys the hookups. Now, go ahead and enter code THEBOYS in order for you to receive an additional 15% off on top of the already discounted store.
Don't ever say we don't do nothing for y'all. This is for y'all. We appreciate each and every one of you, honestly. Big shout out to the Ace Fitness for supporting us, promoting us, sponsoring us, all the above. Don't forget to show love. Check out the website, share it, like it, send it to all your homies, send it to the people that are gym rats. New Year's resolution, get it now before it's too late. Don't forget who sent you. You already know the deal.
Thank you. So, let's go on back into the show. So, Jesse, talk to us.
Well, we want to say thanks. Yeah, honestly, we want to say thanks today, first and foremost, again, like we always do. We appreciate each and every one of you guys coming back, showing love, showing support, sharing, everything you guys do. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. And if you haven't done so already, what do you got to do, Edwin? Tell them what they got to do.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, share it with your family, and like this video. And it really does help us out a lot. So please do us that small favor. It literally takes about 0.43 seconds to go ahead and do that. Do all that. So
I think less.
Probably less. You're right. You're right. So overall, thank you guys so much for your support. Now let's go ahead and go on with the show.
What's up, Edwin? What are we going to talk about today?
So today, you know what? Wait, Jesse, can I even say the word?
I don't know, bro. That's going to be...
I can't say it, bro. No, I can't.
Tell them what we're going to talk about, bro. We want everyone to know, hey, make sure, like we said, keep it on the low. We don't want no one, the mamas, to hate us. We don't want no tias chismeando, none of that.
Especially if you're Hispanic, your tia's not going to like you for watching the show.
You might, it's becoming a more topic amongst family and religions and all that stuff. But today we're going to talk about the famous Satanás. Who's Satanás, Edwin? Satan? There's people that believe in him. I always thought it was all like low key.
I really did think I didn't believe in any of that stuff.
To be honest with you. But to every good, there's an evil, or vice versa. So today, we're going to have a very, very special guest talking about it.
He's talking about special guest.
Honestly, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Between me and him. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But he's going to talk about his experience. He's going to talk about where he's at in his spirituality. And I want to get to know him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah? Let's bring him in.
Let's bring him in.
Hey, hold on.
Okay, hold on. Just be like, boom, our very own Japhet.
Boom. Thank you, Japhet, for joining us yet again.
Long time no see.
We appreciate you and what you do for the boys.
Oh.
But today, we going to bring a shovel because we going to dig into your Satanism. How would you describe it, to be honest with you, before we get too ahead of ourselves?
So let's just go with the topic. How did you even get started with all this good stuff?
First and foremost.
Let's clear some things up.
Let's clear some things up. I'm not here to like preach. I'm not here to convert anyone
or promote.
Well, maybe promote, just to spark some interest, you know. So do your own research. Don't take my word as a fact. Do your own research. Do your own research. So I'm only here to point, and your thing is your responsibility is to blaze the path.
You could provide the plate, but you can't eat for them, huh?
Yeah.
Word to money back. Word to money back.
So, so before we get started, I do want to say that again, we're not trying to promote anything. You know, we're just here to simply, create curiosity, and we're really trying to dig in the mind, because not only is he going to be talking about, because I don't want to label him as a satanic or anything like that, because I think me and him were very clear about that. That because I'm not sure where he stands. Right? Is that correct? Or I'm not sure how.
Well, I don't categorize myself into any category as far as religion, spirituality, or anything in general. Honestly, like in the entire spectrum of life, I don't.
Okay.
I don't put myself in any category.
So with that, we also just want to make sure that we also kind of dig into his head and also with his mental health. I was like, how does he feel about that? Because I'm pretty sure this wasn't something that you, not necessarily were born with. It's probably something that could just kind of. Was it something recently that was brought up, or was this?
How'd you get into it, or what sparked your interest? I guess that's.
I've always been to like. I think it all starts like as a kid. At least it did for me. I was always into like occult shit, like horror stuff, just like little things here and there, like in movies, art, and shit like that. That's kind of think like artists like throw little shit in there into
subliminal messages.
Yeah, but just to like spark some sort of interest, like I said, I want to do to you the same way they did to me, and then that doing research on like factual things, not just like art stuff. It helps a lot because then you start questioning things that that society in general teaches you, and so, certain things are not as they seem. So you have to do your research. I think that's a big thing about Satanism is
you can't believe everything you're told, huh?
Yeah, and then you have to like establish your own reality, not the reality someone else built for you.
Okay, so explain to us like why haven't you claimed or put yourself in a category?
Because that gives too much power away from my individuality. Because the moment I say I'm this, you're gonna reduce me to that.
That's all you are.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I fucking Jafet.
So is that based off, like, what you personally think, or just what society thinks?
This is all me. So that's the thing that's the key about the philosophy. Well, one of the sects of the philosophy, and then this is just one of the philosophies that I fuck with the most. I like several, and I want to say that within every teaching, every scripture, there is some hidden truth, but there's a lot of arbitrary guidelines you have to follow if you want to be saved. So
that's you think that's bullshit?
Yeah, definitely. I think you have to establish your own set of guidelines to live by because, after all, it's your life. So how are you going to live by other men's rules, other women's rules?
Other people's rules, yeah. Like the cults and shit, yeah.
So
I was actually having a conversation with one of our followers, one of my homies, one of my homegirls. She was telling me about that. Like, we're talking about biblical references, the toxicity behind it,
right?
You know, like tying it back to masculinity and like how all the women, the gender roles, so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
And we kind of like the one thing we kind of like leaned more towards was everyone's own interpretation of it.
Yeah,
that's how you're saying it. You know how there are people that follow those philosophies, that follow those guidelines, that want to live by that. I mean, be reduced to that. You know, so it's crazy how everyone's interpretation can be different for everything.
Yeah, and then there's like a lot of here I have an issue with people that like preach from one of the scriptures and they don't follow it to code.
So I know what you
makes sense.
So there's like they only listen to the parts that benefit them. So I'm just like, hey man, if you're gonna come over here and try to preach something to me, you better live by that. So you better not wear certain sorts of
clothing that's mixed, correct?
Yeah, and there's a lot of like,
because it refers back to the Catholic community. Shout out to all my Catholics, but I'm not here to preach, promote, or anything either. But so us Catholics have some toxicity in us too. Like the ladies that sit there and judge about tattoos and like shit like that's like, lady, you got 2 baby daddies. Fuck you mean?
Yeah, I've
You
been.
know, like what type? Who are you to call out my sins, lady? Like, you know, worry about your own sins and your own cleansing, and then you could talk shit. You know?
So I'm actually curious because you said that you were Catholic, right? Were you born and raised?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I was, I guess I was born. I wasn't born into anything, but then like towards when I was like 5, 6 years old, I got in. I was a Catholic. Then I switched over to Christianity. Then I went back to Catholicism, and then now I'm back to being a Christian. But
You're
I'm just curious.
religiously confused, huh?
I guess so.
Hey,
Um,
that's part of the journey.
That's
man.
part of the
Yeah.
journey, exactly. So I'm just curious. Did you grow up anything?
Well, technically, yeah. So I grew up, and I'm still part of a humongous Catholic family.
Okay.
I was raised. I was actually went to a private
Catholic school.
Catholic school, but it's like it was
My
ran
man.
by the church, the actual
Oh, damn.
Oh,
church.
okay.
So we
I know
were
what you
taught by nuns. The priest was on site and shit like that.
Damn.
That was for a few years,
Mm-hmm.
and
Real different or what?
yeah, I lived in a super Catholic town too, so it was just
Okay.
like
Gotcha.
interesting, but it never, I just never was
Never stuck
part
to
of
you.
my life like that because I was always forced to go, and even as a kid, like I would like find some way to like go home
Get
from
out
church.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So how did you? So how did this even come up about like you transitioning to this? I'm not sure if you would label it as a
It's
faith
a free
or
spirit. I
or
say,
religion
I would
or
say free spirit.
how would you
It's-
how would you say that?
well, there's sects within Satanism that are like they consider it like a religion. It's
Mhm.
recognized as a religion now under
Okay.
the from the U.S. government. So
Okay.
the
So
Church
talk
of
about that. How did you transition over to that?
um. So at first it was just my reluctance to be part of the Catholic Church, and then it just transitioned into doing like research about the philosophies that are part of the spirituality or religion of it, and
Gotcha.
then so I was reading like into Aleister Crowley, Anton LaVey, just like different people within
Mm-hmm.
the I don't know the belief,
Okay.
and then just off of that, just like kind of like dipping my feet in as like just like you know when
Opening
you
the
like
door to that
Yeah,
side
so
of
just
things.
little
Was it more
things.
just like curiosity? Well, because like I'm trying to like think of like how did you just be like you wake up one day like you know what let me go pick up a book about Satanism.
Maybe
Like,
you were just questioning it. No?
Yeah,
I feel like you
yeah.
just
did you like did you first question like man you know what maybe this religion's not right but you know what I've been curious about that I'm gonna check that out. Was that the thought process in a
because
way?
I'm leaning more like kind of like it was like kind of a rebellion from what you're saying. You
Yeah,
just did
that's-
everything
Oh,
you
okay.
could.
That's definitely like one of
Yeah.
the driving forces I believe of any sort of
Okay,
awakening
makes
is
sense, makes
rebellion.
sense. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
Okay,
at
interesting.
first it was just I was like one of those angry atheists, like you know, like cause you start like learning about like all the
Uh-huh.
atrocities done by like religious groups, and you're like, yo, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah,
You're
like,
supposed to be about love and peace.
All
What's going on?
the child like sexual soul and all that like
Yeah, there's like
that's
I
a
don't.
lot, bro.
I mean,
The
if you guys
pedophilia.
want to like look into it on your own, go ahead and do that. I'm not here to like put any certain group on blast either. But there's a
Gotcha.
lot of crimes against humanity done in the name of religion. So you guys
Gotcha.
can look those up. But that's what set me off. And then having certain courses throughout my college career, and just learning about like those atrocities that were committed, and then looking into like opposition groups.
Just
And-
made you more curious, huh?
Yeah, and then I think when it finally set in that like, yo, this is like this is my favorite one was
shit.
after having like this certain like spiritual awakening through like a dream when I was like
You want to share that with the people?
it was not
Low.
entirely.
Not entirely. Just
But-
paraphrase it.
It was just like I was visited by a certain entity, and it was like the most beautiful thing ever. And it was like a huge low point in my life spiritually. I was like, I had just gone through a breakup. I had gone through like fallouts with friends and shit like that. So I was just like having a bad time. And then I think whatever it is that the force that's within all of us that takes care of you, it just presented itself in a certain shape, and it came and it like basically told me everything was gonna be all right, and it gave me a very very like life changing lesson. And then when I woke up, it was like poof, like I felt wonderful. I felt like a sense of happiness, which was like I feel like it knew whatever it is that is the universe.
Saved you.
It was just like, hey man, like you're fucking struggling right now, dude.
But
I know it. Don't worry about it. This is part of it, and then you're gonna be all right. And when I woke up,
you were.
dude, I felt like so much better than I had in years.
Honestly, Jafet has told us this story, and the way he tells it is like he's just making it seem like nothing big deal. But the way he explains it's a trip. Like you'll just be shook.
You know what? I have a weird question. So, because like I want to play devil's advocate, just because I want to throw this out there, because I like doing it. It's fun. You know me. I like to create drama, but
yes.
So, so overall, from what you're saying is, so you're saying that you kind of saw like the whole hypocrisy of religion of like you've been seeing this, but it's like why are you saying this, but you're you're preaching this, but you're acting a different way. So it was kind of, you became kind of rebellious to that, or for you it wasn't rebellious. You just wanted to find like an actual path that seems correct.
Yeah, I wanted to find a group. I feel like it's a human's inner desire to belong to something, or to like have some sort of
belonging.
Yeah, like connecting to something outside of yourself. But then I found out that you should connect to yourself is the only way like you're gonna find that inner peace. Because when you search it outside of yourself, you're just gonna get lost in the sauce, basically.
So what would you
talk to him? Okay.
So what would you say to somebody that, because I noticed that you did say that when that you were in your lowest point, mentally, or whether it was your faith or whatever, you were at a lowest point. So I know that for me, because again, I've been a Catholic, I've been a Christian, and sometimes they talk about like temptation with Adam and Eve, and then you're at your lowest point, and God said, you know what, you shouldn't touch that apple, but Eve obviously did. So what would you say is like what would you say to somebody that tells you, well, don't you think that maybe like that deity that came to you that night in your dream just came in at your lowest point because he knew that you were vulnerable, and maybe
that's a fucking great question.
I've thought about that
that's a fucking great question.
Because think about it, like, what did you say? Maybe it came back to manipulation, using your head.
Damn,
like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, as soon as I saw it, my first instinct was fear, dude. Like, I was just like, oh fuck, here we go. Like, this is it. Like, I'm fucked. I'm gonna like die in my sleep, right? And then, I was expecting like, hey, do this for me, and I'll do this for you,
like
and I was
favor in return.
yeah. So it wasn't like that at all. It was just like, it wasn't even like, it didn't speak verbally, I guess. It was just like a mental, and it didn't ask anything from me. It was just like, hey, I know what you've been going through, and it named off like the things I've been going through. And again, this could just be like your higher inner self, like telling you things,
Yeah.
But it didn't ask anything from me. Rather, after the journey that I went through within my dream, which was a life lesson within itself, it was just like, you see how you did that, and you helped people out. Damn. So here's your reward.
I got you now.
So yeah, like it didn't ask for anything in return.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't like the feeling of fear went away as soon as it started like communicating, and then like a huge overwhelming sensation of love and respect.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't like, hey, take this thing and I'll give you this. It was never that. It was just like, it's all right. Good job.
So he basically gave you the option, is what you're saying. It wasn't like, was it an option, or was it kind of?
Sounds like he made you realize a lot. Like,
yeah, like was it kind of more like a realization, or was it like, you know what, he kind of laid it out on the table and it was just like, all right, perfect, I'll take it, or like how was it like to be like, you know what, I'm going that path, I'm going that direction? Was it because like you were given options, or was it kind of you were forced? Like what?
No, before I say I keep saying it because it had no gender. So
okay.
I know people tend to
indescribable and
subliminally like you're pushing like God as a human and as a male. I don't like that part too. So
same.
It wasn't an option. It was just like, hey, like it came in at the end of like the journey that I had gone through, like a plight.
So opportunity?
No, it was just like, you finished this. I was like, oh fuck. Like at the end of it, I felt like I was like screwed. It came in, said everything's okay. I got you this. Enjoy. I don't want anything in return. I'm just here to communicate this message to you, and then fall back.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't like a temptation.
Temptation.
It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, good job.
Hey, you might have to just be careful, though, Jafet. Now, I mean, Edwin just sparked up like all that contrary to me too. Like, you don't know if he's gonna come back. Te va a reclamar, you know.
Hey,
You never know.
it's all good.
I'm not saying it will, just because of how you've already explained it, but it opened up that door for me as far as questioning.
That's
then-
definitely
then again,
something I've thought about too.
I feel like it kind of leads to another question that I'm kind of curious about, because again, I'm gonna go back. I'm just gonna reference, my point of view, and again, just to clarify, this is obviously like my point of view. This is what I'm thinking. I'm not saying that everything that I'm saying is set in stone. So I just want to make sure, like, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a.
You're not a priest.
I'm not a priest. I don't have a major in theology. None of that. But I am curious that, like, so I guess because obviously there's Bible studies, and then I've learned that, what, like, it's really hard to stay sane and to stay holy, right? And then in the Bible it does say that everybody falls short in the glory of God, right? And then we understand it. But then it's like, now I'm kind of curious, and maybe a lot of our viewers are curious, is that, like, for me, right now I'm 27 years old. I worked hard for my car. I'm working hard for my business. I'm working hard for my future home. And then all that struggles gave me that I know eventually I'm going to be happy at the end. But, and let's just say, just to make like a dramatic like example, let's just say someone wants to go like the easier route and get, instead of like working hard, getting a degree to get a better job, and after that get a career, get a home, whatever, etc. Let's just say they just want to sell drugs or something to make their path easier. Do you feel like maybe like this is an easier path, or do you feel like this is something that you actually want to work towards and maybe see where this goes?
Well, see, the thing is about that is everyone has a different sense of purpose.
Gotcha.
So I'm not talking shit or anything on anyone who like ties their happiness to material things, but after going through what I've been through, I don't worship material things. I don't give a fuck about money. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't tie my purpose and my worth in
material
money
things,
and material things. Like, as long as I have a roof over my head and eat, and like I can eat, and I have the love of my parents and my close family and friends, I don't care about anything else. So my purpose isn't to like, oh, this goal is gonna make me, because I lived like that for the longest, and I was like, oh, I gotta have this car, I gotta have this thing, I gotta have this much money.
I gotta do this, huh?
When you live like that, you exhaust yourself for what? At the end of it, you're gonna die, and were you like happy the entire time you were existing?
That's facts.
Don't you? It's like, it's really dangerous to walk that line.
You're headed towards something, and you're not enjoying the journey.
Yeah, like I get the goal and reward thing, but you got to figure out a healthy thing to tie to that.
That makes sense, and that makes sense because I know for some people, like, they don't want a lot of stuff. Like, for example, people who are like minimalists, they don't care about any of that stuff. They just want simply, like, I've been to minimalist homes, bro. They got a couch, a chair. They don't even have a table. They use like a board or something. They use shoeboxes or something.
That's what I'm trying to say. That if it makes people happy, whatever they believe in, I don't think any sort of religion or anything that you believe in would want you hating or being judgmental or being abusive or anything towards anyone else.
Exactly.
Like, I'm more than sure if something righteous or the higher power that you believe in would want you to be the best version of yourself.
So
how the fuck is that?
So ultimately, you're saying that the reason why you chose this path is because this is where you feel the most like happiness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the
more
only,
comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, it's the only one that's celebrated being myself. So, and in being myself, the thing I chase is every day is being happy with my my spirit within myself. So living in the moment and being happy.
You talked about happiness, and I know earlier you mentioned that as long as you have like the basics and pretty much the love of your family. So let's cut off that part and let's talk about that, like the love of the family. How did they take it? What was the first thing that popped in their head when it was like, what the fuck? My son is practicing this. mother probably started praying right there on the
they
spot.
force
But like,
religion on you.
yeah,
So
exactly.
how did they feel when you first started coming about and
What was
you
that
had a
360
realization?
turn, or what was the first thing they saw, or like, what was it?
You know what? Like again, and this isn't like I don't do fucking rituals and like have candle.
You're not hardcore like that's
yeah,
not.
it's
Yeah,
like
nah.
that's like gimmicky as fuck. Like honestly, like that's not what it is at all. It's all about searching
Because
a deeper connection with yourself.
Yeah.
It's not about fucking cutting over like a rooster over like
drawing the star in the
black
sand
candles and
and
shit
shit,
like
Drinking
that.
Chucky
drinking
shit.
a virgin's blood.
Nah,
and shit.
hey, but you used to dress kind of like how you do now before, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
like it
always-
wasn't a drastic change, in
No,
my
like-
opinion, that I thought.
Not at all. It was just I think the only thing that I after that I've been like more into black metal just because it's fucking rad. But like it's a lot of like
You know what changed? That I think you stopped giving a fuck.
yeah. Honestly,
Of what people think.
I let go of a lot of people who I mean I'm not holding it against them. They're just like they're religious and I hope they find their happiness, but the way they were pushing that upon me was like more of a it was more of like hindering my feeling good about myself.
It was going
Rather
against
than-
your vibe, then
Yeah, it's like
enhancing.
why are you so against who I am and pushing that
man.
upon me? Like shouldn't your God want to
It's-
like embrace me
Yeah,
how I am?
literally.
Like
Gotcha.
well, and I don't know about your yeah, but
And you know what?
No, you
It's,
can't
it's
even
funny.
get into
It's funny that you do say that because you're like you just said right now that you know what, shouldn't your God want us to like love each other?
yeah.
And honestly, that's one thing that I've always hated
Mm-hmm.
about like Christianity because a lot of people would say like a lot of Christian people would say like, oh yeah, like you're this, you're that, you know, because I've known people who they're full on tatted
Mm-hmm.
and then like you know they were into like whether it was drugs, gangs, or whatever, and they just stopped. But then sometimes it's just literally because the visual, what Christianity sees, is like, oh no, that's a bad person.
Yeah.
You don't know if they've been saved, but even then, it doesn't matter if they're saved or not. You should love that person for who they are.
Yeah.
Just for a perfect example, the best perfect example for all you guys to witness is this trio right here. I might not believe in what he does. He might not believe in what I do. But ultimately, it's just that we care for each other, and that's ultimately what really makes the world go round.
Yep.
And I think that that needs to be preached more. And you know, like don't get me wrong, like I try my best not to like pressure people on Christianity because then it just seems like I'm just shoving things down the throat, but I don't want to do that.
But to be fair,
Yeah.
Edwin was like that.
Yeah,
and
I
I've said it
was. I
before.
was.
Edwin was real hardcore religious. Like after work at Foot Locker, he'd go volunteer at the church and go with the church kids in church school and all
Bro,
that
I was
stuff.
in the band for like 4 years.
Yeah,
bro.
he was. He really
I was the lead guitarist for like 4 years.
He was known in that church community, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm not going against it, but Edwin was the type that would try to push it upon you.
Yeah.
Every time, I think I mentioned in one of the episodes that everyone would be like, "Why you doing drugs, Jess? Don't be
Yeah,
stupid,
that-
Jess. This and that, Jess." You know, and then that's why I crack up now that Edwin's like different, you know, because I've seen both sides, you know, but I was really excited to do this because I'm a Catholic, Edwin's a Christian, former Catholic, and then Japhet just believes in what he believes in. He
Right.
just
I
believes
believe in myself.
he believes in his
Yeah.
higher being and his happiness. And
Yeah.
by all means, you know, I have no hate on that. I fuck with Japhet heavy.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And you'll see voy a misa cada domingo. You know, I know all my prayers now.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not gonna force anything upon Japhet. I don't expect him to force anything upon me, and vice versa for Edwin. You know, I'm
Right.
glad he doesn't do that no more because it's 2020. I don't think he could do much anymore.
I know at 2020
without
it's
offending
like-
people.
Exactly.
You know, it's okay to have discussions
Right.
against debates.
And
Yo,
that's
we
the
can
thing
talk,
too.
yeah, like
that's big and that's important. Is that if you have discussions, that should literally be it. It's not a debate. It's not a discussion. Ultimately,
it's a
for
discussion.
example, Jesse can be right about everything, but just because I'm a Christian, I'm just gonna automatically deny it. You know. So then that's the thing. Is like it's okay to have discussions, but as far as debates, is I don't believe it's necessary because at the end of the day, people are gonna think whatever they want to think. And I
Yeah.
think that's just the ultimate. Like sometimes you really just can't change a person. And we said this before on the podcast. You can't change anybody.
There's
mean,
there's
you
just
can make
too
them
much
think,
to it
That's
because
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
like it's just how me and like I mentioned earlier, it's just about interpretation because
Mhm.
there's a lot of bad things people can say about the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, about the members, about the people
Mhm.
involved, you know, all that stuff. But it's just about common sense. At the end of the day, she made a great point. Shout out to Danielle. she literally said, you could believe in everything, but you can't leave it up. Like when people say, "Oh, I leave it in God's hands," like no, you have to put in the work.
Yeah, exactly.
And I expect, like, obviously, you do everything you can, and then you leave it in God's hands. How I see it.
Another thing about that is the law of attraction and calling just like certain like supernatural things I'm starting to like learn about now, because like my journey in knowledge isn't over. I'm still going through it, and I'm
It's
still
a
learning new
constant
things.
learning
Yeah,
experience,
so
huh?
like a lot of people make fun of what is it, astrology.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like actually reading up into it, and then one of my friends sent me like one of the charts, and it was like spot on. So I was just like, you know what, maybe there's something to learn from this.
I have a lot of mixed emotions about that.
Yeah, I do too.
There's a lot of things that are correct, and there's a lot of things that I'm like, nah, it's just smoking dick.
like I know, like that's true. Like for me personally, like I don't believe in horoscopes and all that stuff. It's just me. I'm like, no, just because I'm a Leo doesn't mean I'm always angry. I mean, granted, I'm always angry.
You
period.
always are.
I'm always. I mean, but it doesn't necessarily mean just because I'm a Leo. I mean, I've met a lot of angry whatevers. some
Capricorns.
Libras, Capricorns. They're all mad. I think it's just. I think one person is that label, and then they just make it more dramatic, and they find like, oh, it's all me. I believe there is an effect that there is a terminology for that. But I forgot what it was. I'll research it later.
Shout out to all the Libras, though.
Yeah. Shout out to all the Leos, even though it's like...
No one likes Leos.
I'm not... Geminis, like, get shit talked a lot, so... But,
yeah, I've seen it. But, shout out to all the signs. Shout out to all the Libras, though, because there's a lot of people's birthdays that I fuck with heavy coming up.
Yeah.
Like, almost all the closest people to me, so...
I just always find it funny that sometimes people like, oh, when's your birthday? Like, and I would tell them, and be like, oh, my God, you like to argue. I'm like... Who doesn't?
Some people hate confrontation.
They do.
It's wild, but yeah, like certain shit like that. So like I don't know. Like I think of everything as a interesting thing to. I just like learning about shit. So that's like my biggest thing. So like astrology, alchemy, even witchcraft is cool. Magic. It's just like
I believe in all that shit, like dark magic and all that.
So
shit.
Just what are some things that maybe you do practice that? I mean, if you're willing to share, like...
You know what I actually started just doing is, what is it, manifesting...
Did you cast anything on me this morning?
No, I don't...
You're not that important.
See, the thing is about, I don't look for reactions or anything out of people anymore. Like, whatever they're going to do. I can only control what I think and what I say and what I call towards me with the energy I put out. So,
Gotcha.
That's what I do. I don't know what is the term when you affirmation. So I'll say certain things. Yeah, because people don't realize the power words that your words.
Yeah, I read about that. Actually.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like if you want to get super into it, but like what we're doing now, you're literally shooting out. You're bending airwaves, and you're creating an effect out of the sound you're making with your mouth. And this sound that comes out of my mouth is entering someone's brain and inciting some sort of reaction.
Those waves get interpreted by others. Yeah.
So, like, what you say, which is why I don't talk too much, is, I don't know, you guys have noticed, I'm, very quiet.
Yeah.
That's why we have you here. We wanted you to talk.
Yeah, so...
This is probably the most he's talked with all the episodes combined.
For real.
But Jafet's a very interesting person.
He is.
Honestly,
he's a really good listener. He's in the corner that comes out, and then out of nowhere, boom,
comes
gives
out
a
with
fact.
great words.
Like, words. I'm like, where'd you come from? Where were you? Where were you 6,000 words ago?
Sneak up on the conversations. Like, hold on, what you said.
No, I've actually heard that though. Like that words are very, very powerful. That's why when you say so much, when they say don't talk so badly about yourself because that's what you become. Gotcha. Like I think that's like a very crazy thing people should look into.
I used to do that a lot. A lot before. I think when I was in my early 20s and like my late teens, I would say a lot of shit. Like like it's cute to say like little shit like I'm trash. I'm this, I'm that. But eventually your brain will start believing what you're saying.
I'm trash.
Don't stop doing that. Stop trying to curse about other people when I'm speaking about them.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
So, cause like I hear it a lot, and then it just sounds so nasty to me now. Like when you're talking about somebody else, and then you're using, like it's like, I still drop f-bombs and shit here and there, but it's like it's not aimed at anyone in particular, so those negative vibes aren't gonna attach themselves to them.
Gotcha. So, I actually want to dig a little bit deeper into your mental health as well, because I know that like when you first started, it wasn't like something like, all right, this is a new me, and you came out all confident. I'm pretty sure there was like levels to it. I'm pretty sure at one point you were maybe second guessing yourself. You had some confrontations with your family. So,
well, did you have those like negative confrontations?
Yeah.
Talk to us about a few. Talk to us about some that came from friends and people you knew, and your own family members.
I feel like with friends, it's not as much of a confrontation as it's just like, hey.
Was it more of a shock when they heard it?
Yeah, like they just like kind of like give me the the look, and I'm just like, it's all right, bro. I'm not gonna like do anything like crazy to you. Like I'm still like
I still fuck with you.
I'm not like doing some voodoo shit, and then voodoo is super interesting too.
It's real though,
huh? You see, the thing is, I can't. I'm just a human, so for me to say what is true and what isn't, and what creation and like I can't tell you that.
Well, yeah, no one really can say, but like you know how there's people that read cards and all. Like there's a lot of in the Hispanic culture that really believe in that. So like those cleanings and all that. Like I get a limpia every time I go to Mexico, con un huevo and all that. Like
really?
You know, yeah, bro.
That's interesting.
And like the people who do the limpias, like depending how the egg comes out, depends like you know how people are like. The vibes you're getting.
See, then that's the thing too. Like, I can't say what's true, what's not true. I kind of just like to experience different philosophies and like certain shit. Like I've done that too. So it's just interesting to me. Like, but for me to say this is fact. Like, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck is anyone else to tell me that too?
I want to share because I respect your your enlightenment that you went through.
Like steer off too far off. Also as well.
Okay,
kind of want to stick into the question, but go ahead.
Okay. Okay. You know how you believe in, whatever you believe in, your higher self, your self-being, your happiness and all that. There was this one time I told you guys about it, why I believe in God and stuff. I was really praying. There was like a tough time. I was going through I had a really bad day. I was praying really, really bad and trying to get through it, like fighting anxiety, all that stuff. And I was just praying to God and praying to God. And then someone, a friend of mine hit me up and was like, here, I thought you might need to read this today. Remember I told you guys about that? I was like, dude,
it was scripture, right?
Yeah, like I was just like, damn, like, thank you God for helping me out. And it was just, that was kind of like my enlightenment, and it's been helping me through everything that I've been going through. So that's why I respect it. Too. Yeah, it's like, like I respect what you went through because it helped you out. And what I went through and what everyone else went through, I'm more than sure people have gone through their own things. The only bad thing that I do hate about is that a lot of the religion, especially the Catholic religion, is forced upon people, and that's why they don't appreciate it, or that's why they're not really into it no more.
As long as I had a thing too, when I had to accept the fact that people aren't gonna believe the same thing I believe, which is important. So like if people find peace, find belonging, psychological help for a lot of people is through the church. If that's their happiness, then hey, good for you.
That's what I'm saying, and then it just goes against when people say, oh, you have to hang around like-minded people. It's like, nah, bro. It's like you have to hang around people that are different, that gives you meaning, that give you different insights on everything, that give you their perspective, so you can see it. You might not want to believe in it, you might not have to, but at least you understand it, and you understand that that's what's helping them, that's what's making them happy, But that's crazy. Anyways, back to your question, Edwin.
Yeah, so coming back from the question, we like to do that. We like to steer off, so I apologize, guys, if we don't seem like we're on path, but going back to what we're saying.
It's a conversation.
All right. So basically, how you said that was that usually when it comes to your friends, usually you get just kind of like a shock, like, oh, okay, that's not what I expected, but okay. So how did it came about with your family? Like, did you just like openly just say, hey,
no,
mom, this, or they just kind of found out, or how did that reaction go? And then how did it affect you once they started reacting to it mentally?
I think it wasn't like, hey, I'm this, I'm that. I'm not preachy. I'm not like vocal, like super vocal about it either. So I just I guess I just make art, and then they see a lot of like little references, and they're like, "What's up with that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's this," and then I'll explain to them what that image is or what the message behind it is, and they'll be like, "I don't like that." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way."
And I do.
Yeah, so it's just like stuff like that. It's like, so what? You worship the devil? I'm like, not necessarily, but what's like, why is this creating such a big emotional reaction out of you? Like, want to relax a little bit, like. So it was just like things like
here's some
that.
sage, mom.
Yeah, like I think you need a cleansing. You need a I don't know. No, it was just like that.
Okay.
It wasn't any like I don't like to argue, I guess. So I'm just like, why are you reacting this way? And why are you like I don't know, kind of just like give them some peace out of it. Just be like, whatever I want to believe shouldn't affect you. Like I know it does because you like want to control like where I'm gonna go in the afterlife or whatever it is that like they're scared
That
of. But
happens.
it's like don't live with fear. I'm gonna do me, and you should do you.
Don't
So-
worry too much about me, huh?
Yeah, so I'm on a path to being happy myself. So
That's
you
all
do
that
the
matters,
same.
yeah.
So
I want to tie it back to men.
yeah,
What did your dad say?
Oh,
that's where like,
I'm curious too.
That's
Good
where
question.
that's where you got the most pushback, or what?
yeah. I mean, he's just a strong.
Is he a machista?
No, not necessarily that. It's just he has a very strong. He's opinionated. So
Okay.
and then he's like I don't want to say he's like super religious, but he's a very firm believer of God. So he was
Old
just like
school, would you call him?
yeah, you could say
Okay.
that.
Tradition.
So he was just like, hey, like, what's up with this? What's up with that? He doesn't like it as much, but I told him I was like, hey, man, like, these are my personal beliefs and the way the physical actions I take tell you that I'm a good human. So I don't think you should be like too worried about anything else that I'm doing within my brain.
Gotcha.
Did
Like,
he
I'm not
respect
doing
that?
yeah.
That's
He
good, bro.
kicked
That's all that
back.
matters.
And
and-
it's like I'm not like doing drugs. I'm not doing this. I'm not like
Okay.
I'm not doing stupid shit. So you like just I'm okay. Like relax. All I do is work out and work. So we're good.
So, I mean, from what you've told us, you said that like you don't like confrontation. So if they kind of talk about it, you just kind of not necessarily brush it off, but you just kind of like you don't really entertain it too much. You just kind of like, look, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Accept it or not. Is that how you kind of go off about
Yeah.
it when they speak about it?
Exactly. I don't like
Okay.
confrontation, but I will engage if I need to. I don't have any sort of fear.
That's why I fuck with you, Jafet.
Yeah.
How
Because
okay,
you don't people. It's hard for people to get a reaction out of you because you're
Mhm.
so calm and you're firm on what you believe in and that's what
Mhm.
you believe in and you're not like kind of like your conscience is clean. That's why I fuck with you because
Yeah.
I appreciate the energy that you bring.
Yeah.
And you're like a good listener, like Edwin said. So
Yeah.
it's
How
pretty
was I'm curious because I'm pretty sure that like your relationship with your parents wasn't the same, um, like after you made your choice. Was it different? Like were you guys like closer before or like, and then if you were or were not, like does it matter regardless if
I don't
like
think
let's just say they
it's.
felt different about you?
I
good.
don't
Is there
know.
a different relationship now?
Yeah, is
Oh.
well to start off, yes. Is there a different relationship?
No. My parents are they're fucking awesome. Like they're my favorite humans on this earth.
You
So-
still go home. You still go home to like chilaquiles and tacos, and they're
dude,
all having
yeah,
fun.
they're
Okay,
they're accepting. Like obviously
it's
they're
just
not
that
gonna.
aspect.
Yeah, they're gonna be like.
Gotcha.
I understand their fear.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they were raised a different way.
Right.
So, but they're still loving. They still like make chilaquiles. They still hug me, kiss me. So it's like, and then I'm still the same way with them. Like part of that shift in me was accepting people for what they are, and
Who
just
they are.
exactly just loving them however it is they come at you. Because if you forget to love people and they come at you wrong, you're gonna do some heinous
Go
stuff.
crazy.
So I think it's important to just like whenever someone comes at you wrong, just to understand, like having that empathy and having that love. So you gauge what you're gonna do in return.
Because that's what you can
Yeah.
control.
So whenever
That's all you
someone
can
confronts me
control.
like in the wrong way, I just kind of like this person is obviously scared or is obviously
Yeah.
like something
There's
is like
something else happening behind
something within them isn't balanced. So I'm gonna try and help them balance that out.
Fuck with you, bro.
Thank you. But yeah, so it doesn't happen with everyone. If someone comes at me wrong and I'm coming at them with love, and they're still trying to like pounce, I'm gonna pounce back. That's part of the thing too. Like
You're gonna be quick to defend yourself, not quick to engage in anything else.
yeah,
I like that.
And
I
then-
think that's how it has to be.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
So now that you've I mean, for me, from what I'm seeing is like on a personal level, it seems like nothing really changes. It seems like again, you still go home to your bed. Your mom probably still tells you to like pick up your socks like in the living room and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
the typical, typical mom thing, like
Mhm.
typical relationship. So it doesn't seem like you have really any like negative like turn in your life within your family.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, it just seems like your parents are obviously just upset that like, you made this choice. But I
Mhm.
mean, ultimately, it's like, what do you feel like is your purpose in life now that you have committed to staying on this path? Like, what do you think is ultimately like,
My purpose.
besides happiness, is like, besides having self happiness, do you have a purpose, or you just kind of want to just keep it at that simple happiness?
I think happiness is a big deal, and I really get joy out of helping others. That's like that was part of the experience I had in that dream.
Gotcha.
It was my inner need to help others, and then once I did help them out, I did it out of like wanting to feel good and also having them feel good. So like I think throughout my life, it's just like enjoying it. That's like number one, and then
Enjoying the journey.
helping everyone I have the means to help.
Yeah, because you have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of
Yeah,
anyone.
you gotta look out for number one, because if you don't look out for number one, you can't look out for everyone
number
else.
two and number three.
That's
That is
facts,
correct.
Jeff,
That's fact.
honestly.
And honestly, religious aside, or faith aside, or whatever belief aside,
Mhm.
that's really what it boils down to. If you really don't focus on yourself, you really can't focus on anybody else.
Yeah, because you
So
like
that's
it's all
interesting.
that's all the love. If you can't like if you're not okay with yourself, you don't love yourself, you're gonna take out those insecurities and those fears on other people around you.
Project that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly.
That is
Well,
honest-
honestly,
that's
ladies
beautiful.
and gentlemen, y'all heard it here first. Jafet has very different beliefs.
Mhm.
Edwin has very different beliefs. I have
Mhm.
very different beliefs. Everyone has
Mhm.
very different beliefs. But that does not mean you could be a bullshitter. That means you can't be a dick, no asshole, no chismosa. Don't be judging. Don't be talking shit.
The journey never
especially-
ends either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Every
be
day is a-
forcing it. I mean, I think my main point would be don't be forcing shit on nobody.
Mm-mm.
Respect people for who they are, like Jafet said. Understand they have their own beliefs for their own personal reasons, and just respect it.
I forgot to say one thing though.
Go ahead, my boy. Go ahead.
Say whatever you want to say.
Just respect nature. That's a big one too. That's a big part of the
what
belief.
you do, the earth, the
Yeah.
universe will get back. Huh?
Mm-hmm. I forgot to mention that.
I don't like
See,
paper,
bro,
so that's why I
look.
use a laptop.
Dude, we need to keep talking about this more because literally today, I kid you not, you say that respect. I haven't littered in a long time, and that's a big step for me, fool, because I would not give a fuck about nothing.
I can't.
You
My
know,
mom smacked
and
me and
today,
says you better pick up your
I
trash.
kid you not. Today there was a toothpick on the floor at work.
Mm.
And I passed by, I was like, hey, I was messing with my coworker, like, hey, fool, that's yours, pick it up. He's like, nah, that ain't mine. I was just going to leave it there. Something just told me, go pick it up and throw it away.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it.
I do that too, dude. Like,
I was like so surprised. I was like, damn, God bless us all.
You know what made me clean a lot since we're talking about this?
Yes,
that
when
a
you had
lot
community service, we get now. Just
Well, no, I hated that. I swear I hated community service. Damn. But it's like people who would have their disposable masks and gloves and just throw them on in the street. That pisses me off, especially in this pandemic. I'm
people
like,
who don't wipe off or re-rack their weights at the gym.
Yeah, tell him something,
bro. What? Your mom does not live in the gym, right?
Of all things, all the examples, my boy uses gym equipment.
gym.
Yeah, and she shouldn't be picking up after you in the first place. Like,
for real.
Tell them motherfuckers.
So it's just like littering is like a huge thing.
What if they worked out so hard that they can't pick it up anymore?
Don't work out that hard. Moderate your workout.
Yeah, don't be stupid. Huh? It ain't our fault. You're weak.
But yeah, go ahead, Jesse. Lead us out.
Nah, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard it here. Thank you guys again for joining us. We have our own beliefs. Everyone has their own beliefs. We also believe that you guys should follow, like, subscribe, and share if you haven't done so already.
And if you haven't remembered, go ahead and go to our sponsor, theacefitness.net. Link is always in the
you already heard the coupon code, The Boys,
the
you already heard it here first. Thank us later. Get your fucking equipment. Don't leave it on the floor because Jafet will put you in check. Yeah. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, if nobody loves you, JG loves you.
And I love you too.
We all love you. Believe in what you believe in. Be happy. Respect one another. Respect the earth. Just keep it pushing. Enjoy the journey. Don't forget who the fuck you are. Happy Monday. If you had a long day, I hope this makes it better. If not, we apologize. We will see y'all soon. Late.
Love you guys. Peace.
Let's say next week, this beautiful message, people comes up and you're like, hey, Jay.
What's up, daddy?
And then she's 10 years old. Now, obviously, like I've mentioned before, women have this biological